Hello there. I'm Sin. We're in the Book Nook, and today we're going to talk about a vampire book. And it's called Devils Kill Devils by Johnny Compton. This is the second book I've read by this author. The other book I read by him was called The Spite House, which is fantastic. Haunted house story. If you are interested in that, I'll have a link to that down below if you want to check it out. So, Devils Kill Devils. This book was absolutely fantastic. It hits the ground running, and the thing about it, I didn't even know it was a vampire book until like halfway through the book because in the beginning, they're just portrayed as guardian angels and then demons. And so I thought this was more of like demons and angels, but the demons are kind of vampires and it's a crazy book. Okay, so the story starts out and it follows the story of Sarita. Her and her fiance have just gotten married, so now they're husband and wife. Her and Frank. Wedding happened. They go back to their hotel. It's been a long day. They're exhausted. And then Sarita sees something. Look, she thought she saw something in the room. She's like, whatever. And then all of a sudden, when her and Frank are in bed, she sees the person that she considers her guardian angel, Angelo. And Angelo grabs Frank and ends up murdering Frank. And she can't understand why this has happened, and she tried to stop him. And so we have a very traumatic beginning of this book. All right, so now she starts to wonder maybe Angelo isn't an angel, because why would he murder her husband? That doesn't make any sense, right? Now the funeral happens and you have Frank's side of the family. Some of, well, most of them are kind of like rough around the edges, and a lot of them seem to blame her, like she had something to do with the murder, even though she had nothing to do with it, although it was her, what she thought, guardian angel. The mother of Frank, Hera, she definitely blames her, and she's kind of horrible, and Frank didn't even really have a good relationship with her because she was kind of a selfish a-hole. She didn't even come to their wedding because she wanted to have the mother dance with Frank, but Frank was like, you weren't really there for me, and so wanted to have that with his stepmother, who was more of a mom to him than his mother ever was. All right, so you got Frank's family, they're all mad and blaming Sarita for this murder. As you get into the story, you find out about this weird, like, cult-like church that's headed up by this woman named Sela, who is kind of a demon or a devil, but she's a vampire. There's a whole prophecy that she kind of crafted around this woman, Sarita, that she's supposed to marry this viscount and her child will be like the savior of the world and this, that, and the other. But her whole plan was to have Sarita killed and to have Sarita's husband do it somehow, even though Frank would probably never have killed her. Who knows? Because he's out of the picture now, because the Guardian killed the husband, and this was not ordained by Sela, who's trying to like pull the strings to manipulate things to turn into like apocalyptic times so that she can rule the earth and whatnot. So it's all very diabolical. But yeah, I honestly didn't know it was a vampire book until halfway through, and I kind of liked that. I liked that the shades of gray between like the angels and demons and vampires and the sleeping gods, and there's so much going on in this book, and there's not a dull moment in it. It's kind of like all like action, and it's pretty great. The story is developed really well. I really like the characters. You get a real feel for them, all the different elements and how it came out and worked out. And like, so you have this whole church of cultists that follow Sela and this prophecy. They're all relieved that the supposed devil that was supposed to kill Sarita has been taken care of. So like they're rejoicing, and like what Sela wanted to do was eventually have Sarita be murdered so that she could get the followers of the church to like go on this murderous rampage and like take over the world and kill everyone. And Sela's still trying to figure out a way to still make this happen. So, will they be able to stop her? What does Sarita even think about this? Like, what is going on? How is it possible, too, to stand up to these demon vampire creatures because they're so powerful that almost nothing can kill them? Eventually, she comes across this faction of people who, some of the vampires, I guess, are not all like murderous eaters of humans. so they may be able to impart some knowledge on the situation and whatnot. And the cover will never lead you to believe that it's this awesome vampire book, you know, but looks can be deceiving. If you want a really good vampire read, Devils Kill Devils is absolutely fantastic. I would highly recommend it. If you are a fan of vampire books, the next video coming up will be about another vampire book. So stick around, check it out. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.